do you remember why we measure cold?
No.
How well it stands, and it can throw off the convention, especially in this case, eighths of an inch matter.
Okay.
So we want to be sure to have measurement for the temperature.
It also has a tendency to burn the tape notes.
Yeah, it doesn't burn the tape as fast. Stretched 11/16. That paper. Keep my math as simple as possible. Make the mark 18 from the end. So for these next ones, I'm going to measure to the line I just made, so I don't have to try to figure out what the distance is. Whatever. I can cut out.
Say that again?
I marked it at 18 inches,
Okay.
and I'm going to work this end, next test piece, so I'm going to measure to the line, not that, because that's about 6 inches further on, which makes my math easier. 18 is much easier.
Dale,
I'm choosing to do that.
what's the stock we're working with?
Quarter by half. Quarter by half. There are other half-inch wide thicknesses up there. Different thicknesses and half-inch wide bar up there. Be sure to get the thick one, the quarter by half. Okay? That's the volume of the volume. Watch one out of that, one out of that. It's not absolutely necessary as long as you do that. In this case, to conserve material, I'm going to do everything on the same bar. I'll cut it by half. This next one I will have to cut off. I'm still going to clean as much as possible so I have nothing. At this point, I'm assuming I'm going to be successful with each of my test pieces. And consistent. All right, I'm going to mark it back to, let's do the beam first. See that one? So I'm going to mark it 3 inches. So that's where I'm going to cut, fold it, bag it, fold it. Okay. Which means when I'm measuring against my line, now it's going to be 15 plus something. Not 8. So 3 inches out of that line.
This is the faggot weld and beam first.
Bag weld being first. My choice.
Why did this?
Now it's about the length I spread it. The way that's most likely to see as well. So if you step it and spread it this way, it'd be great because it'd be protected. Well, you're flattening the well. But you can't. All your beams would be this way, the trivet instead of this way. So you've got exercise right there really helps you learn how to, bevel it with that tilt hammer in such a way that you spread it. That's it. Okay. Next thing is anything like this, rounded shape. It's really important where at one angle, how hard the hammer hits the piece. So it pushes it in that direction like me. So these are great exercises to teach you that. Once again, we have to measure cold. We would never quench this 412 for any reason at all for the real piece. But the test piece, we're going to measure it and need to make it cold and quench. Alright, off right below my weld and at an even dimension for the line I make. So would that be 8.5 inches?
Okay, so you took 3 inches for the vacuum valve.
Okay. Yes, so I fucked that one up. So I took 2 inches on the next one because I still have another test piece to do. Run down the line. Okay? So that 3 I cut off, and I cut off an additional 3 if you will, which is all over. I cut off right at the end of
Calculating the stretch of the house would be a bit
about there. This is the entire thing right now. When we calculate the half, that is 7.5 is when we get to a different color. 7.5 is from here to here. This stretch that we just calculated is for the entire piece. Of half. I'm not worried about it over here. I measured this. I didn't measure all that. Okay? So only half of that 5/8 inch stretch is relative to what I measured.
So is the point of what you're saying, whatever your stretch is, you're going to cut that in half?
Half for the calculation.
Got it.
For the calculation. So 73/16 is that dimension, half the stretch. There's 6 of them. Right? That's 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That one. There it is. 5, 6. We only drew 1/6 of the pattern. Now we got to take this, multiply by 6.
In actuality, then, didn't we draw 112?
What's that? So it's a 3, that's 3 loads. We drew half of it. That's a 6. Half of the third is a 6. Okay. So we got to find out what we cut. We have to multiply by 6. What we got? 6 times 3 is 18/16. Well, that's a reducible fraction. What does it reduce to? 1 1/8. 16 comes out of 18 plus, leaving 2/16, which is still reducible to 1/8. Okay? All right, 6 times 7 is 42. We add our 1/8, our answer is 43. 1/8, that's what we cut.
What is that top number that you started with? Is that 8.5? I can't.
That's 7 1/2.
7 1/2.
That's what I measured with the travel.
Got it.
Okay. Say I'm off by 1/8 of an inch on my measurement. That's times 6. Means I'm 3/4 of an inch long by the time I've done my calculation. So it pays to be accurate. So that's just saying I'm getting my measurement multiple times, getting different results. Do at least 3 measurements a day for that. That's going to get you closer to accurate than the second one. Travelers are tricky. They're antiques and all that stuff. They slip on level. It doesn't take that. Text up and down. First one was canvassing. Pull it off, isolation, forge it down, file the shoulder. Now, it seems like so much. Last one was gusset attendant or belt. Some of you may not have. Ladder, sway, monkey. Monkey like the bull. Monkey. Okay. It is.
Is it monkey?
Monkey.
Yes.
Exactly.
Very carefully calculated 1/4 of an inch.
Not butchering to finished depth. If you cut in so deep that you've only got a 1/4 inch breadth between cuts, you go to flat it, that the cut is going to just be pushed in deeper. The base of your cut is going to be deeper. You want to flat it, it'll have some material that force down to it. Don't cut finished depth. That's plain. It's basically just isolated line. Remove your butcher's eye.
This is what your basics.
We also have combination flatty swage, 1/4 inch swage. Guess what? Look exactly 1/4 inch. Making a swage. That's the next part of this conversation. Making a swage. It is not a 1/4 inch round hole. Okay. That does not work. Right? What it is a football shape. Pushing the shoulder right up to the edge of the die. Working it down. You're slightly off center. Find what you do. Belt. You can move it back to center up to 2 times without it breaking off across issues. Past that, I wouldn't make any guarantees. Right, so it's a little to this side, right? I find that semi-sharp. Hit the shoulder, drop on the ground. That's how that gravity. You can shift it to center line. More than twice doing that, you're going to start to weaken that thing. So it's a little heavy yet. Got room like a beat down. Here's the secret to making way or direction. Daddy bites. What Alcrest calls feeding bait. You don't shove the entire thing into that tool, expect it to work. Just EV bit in there. Get it worked out, fight a little bit more, fight a little bit more, fight a little bit more. Slowly work it out, as opposed to trying to buy it all at once. There you go. All right, last is much tool. Quarter-inch width of the target. Not surprised at 30. That's what it is. I didn't.
So you're measuring from this back plane right here.
No, I got to measure from the shoulder. If you have the luxury of time, you can let it cool down. I would measure the stretch back of the lump. Mark it where you're going to isolate it. Measure from the shoulder back to the spine. This gives you a lot of data points. Double check all your things. I was at 6 3/8 and now 6 1/4. That's 1 5. In order to have volume, I need or 10 inches. You already know this is a failed test, so you're not going to get it. I have to do it again to get back to perfection. Let's say I did, actually reduced my length by 8 inches. Now it doesn't seem like much. That 8 is split side to side, so it's a 16th per side. When I'm trying to find out how much I need, I'm measuring after. I need flat paper and half. Well, that's calculated here. I'm actually adding that.
So even though you went back a quarter of an inch to form the 10, you also stretched it out. So
My bagger bolt wasn't good.
your back as well, you stretched out a little bit to come to that quarter inch. It's all
Reduce,
set done.
reduce my cross section well below half inch, and below 7/16 as much as the case and rise. Not enough volume. Or got the 3/16, 4 times 12/16, 3/4 inch.
If there hadn't been any reduction, it would just be a quarter inch.
No, well, quarter square, but the corners would give you the inch and the volume, of course, back like the square.